We're the anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Layla will wrap up the OUTshine Film Festival with a bold love story, followed by an after party. And OUTshine at Home Virtual Festival will begin October 28th.
Diverse LGBTQ leaders, artists, and disruptors, including Katie O'Brien, Trixie Mattel, and Jodie Foster, are recognized for advancing visibility, equality, and advocacy in the just-announced 2024 Out 100 list.
A CDC survey reveals over 3% of high schoolers identify as transgender. The study highlights youth identity trends and alarming mental health disparities. Queer News Tonight has all the details.
Governor Walz passionately supports LGBTQ rights and transgender healthcare during a conversation on Glennon Doyle's podcast with Abby Wambach.
The first prosecution like it in American history as Texas AG sues Dr. May Lau for prescribing gender-affirming care to minors, citing state law violations and deceptive business practices. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels. We're proud to announce that today, Monday, October 21st, is a great day in the history of this show. YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, that today we now have more than 10 million views on the only daily live queer news show in the world. We are proud that we have more than 1,000 new subscribers in October and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in our community. It is Monday, October 21st, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ news, you will see it and hear it. Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
That's right, Bobby, and let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome my brother from another mother. That's Dale Stine right there. Sexy butt in your blue shirt. I love it. He's a celebrated photographer in the LGBTQ plus community. He is the director of music ministry at the famous Unity on the Bay and a moderator of Miami Gay List, one of South Florida's largest LGBTQ plus Facebook groups, which can also be found on IG at Queer List Official. Welcome back, Dale. How you doing, babe?
Oh, it's great to be here, sis.
How was your weekend?
Well, it was great. We just went to a little gala at the Miami Beach Convention Center for the National LGBTQ Task Force. And it's always a star-studded, kind of very festive, wonderful affair.
Yes.
And it was great to be there and see you and just see our friends. And, you know, it's like a homecoming kind of thing. I loved it. Did you like it?
I was happy to see my friends, but I was more happy to see the stars, right? Yeah. The whole Real Housewives were there, and Ginger Minge. I love her.
Yeah, she was great.
I forgot how much fun and personable and sweet she is.
And she's a great singing voice, too. I love her voice.
Who knew she could sing, bitch? I thought it was karaoke.
Jay Rodriguez was a great host also, Jay Rodriguez.
Yes.
And Karamo, was a great honoree.
Yes.
Really
we've all seen Queer Eye, right? The older one or the newer one. And so to have Jay Rodriguez, that was at the first Queer Eye group, and then he gave an award to Karamo, who's in the recent Queer Eye group. It was beautiful to see.
And there was a great story told about when Karamo reached out to him on IG in the DM and said, you know, I'm doing this reboot, and Jay said he didn't even know about it. So it was very cool to pass the torch.
Yeah. So if you want to see all the wonderful pictures, just follow me on Facebook, and you can see all that stuff, or IG, or TikTok, or any of that stuff. But it was great to see you, and it was a wonderful time. And congratulations to the National Task Force. You guys did an incredible, incredible job. And, you know, look, even Alex is nodding, and he used to work for you guys, you know? So, you know, he's no disgruntled employee. We'll get to that when we talk to him. Next up, let's welcome Ryan Waugaman.
Hello, hello.
Hi, a founder of Brickle LGBTQ and Brickle Dog Fam. He moved to Miami in 2020. He's a real estate professional. Ryan fosters community connections while enjoying Miami's vibrant queer lifestyle and supporting local pet causes. Welcome, Ryan. Now, I love that you're here representing OUTshine, but I gotta say, I love a little more that you also got pet stuff, you know?
Right.
Of course. No, it's really an amazing atmosphere to be. Like, Brickle in Miami, it's so small, it's so self-knit, centered around community, and it's just so great to be able to get to walk the street and be able to know your neighbors. It's just such a fun time. Like, just sit on a bench and then just see someone I know just walk by and be like, hey, Ryan.
Yes,
It's a great feeling.
And it's Brickle, so you know that bitch got money. Let's be real,
Or
right?
somebody taking care of them.
Next up, let's welcome my friend Alex Morash. Alex has written for The Advocate and served as editor-in-chief for Options magazine. He has also served as media director of the National LGBTQ Task Force and press secretary for the Florida Democratic Party. Welcome back, Alex. Where you been?
I've been good. I've been, taking care of a new puppy, which is why people didn't see me in September. But can I say, I was walking around in Wilton Manors, and I found this copy of something called OutClick, and your face was on it. Oh my goodness. I just want congratulations. I heard you had a great photographer.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Stine.
Yeah. Winky, winky.
Oh, no, but that OutClick cover was fantastic. It was actually 2 months ago. So if you want to go check it out, go to OutClick and you can see the cover, or you can also see it on my social media. Thank you for, you're like, who's that? I
Or
know
mine.
that. You're like, I know that. You're like, I know her. I love that. It's always good to have you, Alex. You know, I love your opinion from your seat is always so important. Mr. Bobby Huen is next.
Hey.
So Bobby is a certified civil and family mediator and a co-founder of BH Conflict Resolution Services. From Hong Kong and having grown up across the world, he can offer a queer global perspective on current events. Bobby, have you broken up any families or helped put together any families lately, or just, been in between two people that you were like, wow, I didn't expect this to be so messy?
I mean, there are always messes, but my services are confidential, so
Oh, my
I can
bad.
never tell.
Okay.
But
You can just tell and no
Change
names.
the
No
name.
names.
Like instead of Tammy, it was so Fammy.
Yeah.
actually doing a lot of work still helping insurance policyholders with their dispute with insurance companies.
Oh my God.
Sexy stuff, Bobby.
Well,
After the hurricane.
numbers
stuff?
are
Oh,
numbers. I mean, there will be a flood of new numbers, new claims coming in from Helene and from
Milton. Yes.
and which is also as a certified civil family mediator who does this a lot. Please, if your home has been damaged by those two storms, file promptly and get an adjuster out there to survey the damage. Get it done quick because the line is forming since 2 weeks ago.
And in your personal opinion, insurance adjusters a must?
Well, you can file insurance without the adjuster, but
they do the legwork.
that they do some of the legwork.
Okay.
But just you need. My advice is to find someone who is realistic with their estimates. Do not have someone who come in and sell you a pie in the sky estimate like, oh, you have a kitchen leak, let's replace the entire house. I mean, no, some adjusters do that. I'm not going to say who, but. But be careful with who you choose and always read the reviews and always, find someone who maybe someone can refer you to someone.
Good point. Word of mouth or reviews are key.
Yeah.
Very smart.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat show on Mondays. Faye, you'll be moderating a panel discussion at the Arts United Legacy Tuesday Networking Mixer on October 29th. Tell me what's happening.
Yes, first of all, thank you to Legacy Builders and LaTanya for bringing this incredibly important networking and panel discussion event on health to Wilton Manors. So Legacy Tuesday is hosted by Arts United. It's taking place Tuesday, October 29th at No Manors, 2246 Wilton Drive, starting at 7 p.m. So please join us for an evening of community and culture during Health Literacy Month. I'll be your co-host with the incredible Elimination Onyx. Iconics, okay? So it's all about core conversations, empowering diversity through art, and understanding barriers that impact healthcare in our BIPOC and LGBTQIA communities. Brought to you by Legacy Builders, Ujima Men's, Sunserve, Arts United, and Gilead. There's even a costume contest at 9 p.m., all right? So see you Tuesday, the 29th at No Manners. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, October 21st, 2024. First this evening, let's queer up South Florida and Florida. The 2024 OUTshine LGBTQ plus Film Festival closing night is coming up October 27th. The OUTshine Film Festival wraps up with a bang on Sunday, October 27th, featuring the closing night film, Layla, at the Regal South Beach at 6 p.m. This British-Palestinian drag performer's journey explores the intersections of love, identity, and performance. Layla captivates audiences with its bold narrative, blending raw vulnerability with onstage power. The film sets the stage for an exciting romance between Layla and Max. Max is a successful gay man. So the whirlwind love story highlights the complexities of LGBTQ experiences across identities, making Layla a must-watch for the community. Then, you know we love to party, so enjoy the after party at IT Italian Trattoria, complete with signature cocktails, an open bar, light bites, a DJ, and some dancing, of course. And that is not all. What else, Faye? Well, for those in Florida, we wish to enjoy movies virtually from the comfort of your own home, wrapped up in a blanket with your boo and your dog. Guess what? OUTshine at Home begins the very next day on October 28th and runs through November 3rd, offering a week of unlimited queer entertainment. To tell us more about the closing night and OUTshine Film Festival, we're joined by our new Queer News Tonight anchor and OUTshine's Ryan Waugaman. Hi, Ryan.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the table. So happy to have you here.
Thank you all so much for having me. So excited.
So did OUTshine tap you on the shoulder to help them promote because you're cute?
I wish. No, definitely. So, as you know, I run a social group called Brickle LGBT. We love to capture and create a community and get as much of an audience, and that's really what I was looking for, to be able to help them in this situation.
I love that. And so we were talking before the show, and you said that you've gone, like the rest of us at the table, you've gone to the OUTshine Film Festival in the past years.
Yes, definitely.
And you've had a great time.
Of course. It's always a fun time, always a fun experience. Just fun being in a room full around gay people, you know?
Yeah,
like you can just make out to the person to the next of you and no judgment. It's so much
like
fun.
that, right?
You gotta keep it spicy.
Right, you gotta keep it spicy and sexy. I love that. Yeah. So Layla is closing night, right? And you know, I love that. Okay, you know, OUTshine is by far one of my favorite film festivals, and one of the reasons is your viewing committee crew has to watch like over 300 films. I don't know how they do it, right? Yeah. And then they have to pick, you know, down to their 30 or whatever movies that they end up picking for the film festival. And OUTshine always finds these movies from these other countries that we're not privy to how they live in their queer communities, you know? Yeah. And they have spotlighted films for women. They have spotlighted films for men. They have shorts. They have all kinds of different films, you know? What is the allure of OUTshine all these years to have people coming back for more and more?
Definitely. No, I think it's more of having the difference of opinion that's there for it. Like you get to be able to watch a movie outside of your country, being able to see it in the inside. So I truly think that's like a magnificent appeal to it. Being able to surround by other people, it's similar to you, and being able to still learn more about it. Yeah. Where it all comes from.
Yeah. And so you're talking about Layla, and Layla's our closing night, right? So tell me what Layla's about.
Yeah, definitely. So I really loved the movie Layla. It's very inspirational. I loved how, honestly, it was about drag queens. Like, I've never really seen a movie anything like it before. Like, I think the most and I think the funniest scene about it was just having like a bunch of like drag queens right on the bus. Like, where else do you ever see that? I thought it was just such a funny and iconic scene.
Except in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Except in Priscilla, yeah, right? Someone's going to say they stole it from there, right? You know, that iconic move in Priscilla.
Yeah. Didn't see that one, my bad.
Well, but I mean, Ryan, you're also 10, so it's okay, right?
Oh, Priscilla, but yeah, that was kind of like required viewing, so Get on it.
Trust me. So much time.
Dale will put together a list for you. Not a problem,
right.
you know. And what I was saying before about OUTshine is that, you know, we love to party down here in South Florida, right? So, I mean, so it's not just, you know, you had a women's spotlight, then you had an after party for that. You had the men's spotlight, you had a party after that. And so now for closing, of course, we got to have a party, right?
Absolutely.
And so everyone's invited to come to this party with the ticket to the movie.
Absolutely. Everyone's always welcome to come. It's going to be a fun time, fun, fantastic evening. You get to meet fun, hot people there. So you get to have fun with it. So come on.
Yeah. Okay, Alex, why are film festivals like this still so important?
I think it's important to make sure that we're seeing all these different films and cultures. Like, I think OUTfilm, it's just so brave to have a British Palestinian actress or actor as the lead and to really be doing that as your final. Yeah. I'm sure they'll come under criticism from certain groups that I will normally have a tussle with for that sort of bigotry. But I think it's really brave and it's just great to see what's going on. And like, how can you say no to an open bar at the end?
Bobby, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think I'm just going to echo Alex and say that, like, the exposure of culture, other culture especially, gay culture from other civilizations is very important. I mean, we are very used to the Western way of looking at things, like more liberal, more open. You know, our identity is our own. But there are countries and and cultures where this kind of identity is still oppressed, or at least
even punished.
Yeah, punished, but even be invisible. So it is important for these voices to be heard, and film festivals like OUTshine is the way to do it.
Yeah.
And I think one of the really big important features of the film festival itself is the bringing together of our community. You know, because we come together for a lot of parties, a lot of galas or whatever, different things. So this is coming together for a cultural experience with the film. Yeah. And then the party. But, you know, this is the first year, of course, we know that they're doing both Miami and Fort Lauderdale combined, well, not at the exact same time, but combined in a very different thing. So I think also just to give kudos to the film festival, because I first photographed that festival quite a few years ago when it was called the Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival. It has really continued to evolve and to continue to evolve and become something new and fresh every year. And then kudos to Dino, our friend and fellow anchor, who is one of the persons who views all those movies.
All those films. I don't know what time with the amount of ass that he gets. I don't know how.
And the traveling he does.
And the traveling that he does, right? And mentioning Dino, I wanted to say hello to Joe. I want to say hello to Jennifer Chris. I want to say to Mark Gilbert, to all you folks out there who tirelessly work for OUTshine. You guys are incredible. Ryan, for all you do for them as well. It's a lot. You know, relationships are built at OUTshine. I know people who have met their significant other at OUTshine. I also know people that have been educated at OUTshine, and that is my primary focus when it comes to our community. You know, Layla is about a relationship between a drag queen and a gay man, right? There are so many misunderstandings that people don't understand about the differences between a drag queen and someone who's trans. There is not someone at the table right now that is living that experience to talk about that. But as someone who loves to spotlight drag queens on my show, the FayWhat show, you learn, you know, that it doesn't, you know, it's not always the easiest thing to date a drag queen.
We just talked to any of our friends who are drag queens and they will say exactly that. It is so difficult.
So I can't wait for Layla to explore that.
Of course. No, I think it's also super important to create a conversation based on it as well.
Yeah, have those conversations that sometimes it's hard to have, right?
And but at the after party, it's perfect.
And with some drinks, it'll be easier to have that conversation. Right. All right, so see you guys there at the closing night for OUTshine, and go on their website right now and get that virtual at home, okay? I love the week after OUTshine to just sit at home with my dogs, cats, squirrels, and all the other pets that me and my wife have, and just order in Uber Eats and watch a bunch of movies. That's a wonderful date night to have. Trust me.
Next, let's queer up gay culture. Out 100 honors 2024's most influential LGBTQ+ figures. Out magazine's prestigious Out 100 list has returned for 2024, celebrating the trailblazers, disruptors, innovators, educators, and storytellers who have made significant strides in advancing LGBTQ+ visibility, advocacy, and equality. This year's honorees include a diverse range of artists, activists, and leaders, each leaving an indelible mark on their respective fields. Katie O'Brien, Malia Joy Moon, Cynthia Erivo, and drag sensation Nymphia Wind are among the creative powerhouses featured. The LGBTQ+ cast of Wicked also received accolades. Disruptive forces like Natalie Wynn, Nicola Alexander, Patty Genoa, Pablo Vittar, David Lauterstein, and Fred Kearney have been honored for their contributions to culture and community. Queer educators like Nick Adams, James Black, Callie Rice, Jamie Citron, and Sarah Tualo are also included in the list. T.S. Madison and Jodie Foster are being recognized as groundbreakers, while drag icon Trixie Mattel and tech leader Johan Munsinge are being honored as innovators. In the storytelling category, figures such as Mark Cortale, Laurie Hernandez, and Taylor Tomlinson are being celebrated for shaping narratives that resonate with the LGBTQ+ audiences. Justin Torres is also recognized. The Out 100 list allows our entire community to come together and celebrate those who have propelled the advancement of the community. Congratulations to Out and those recognized in the Out 100. This is always an exciting list to see. You know, you just want to read through the pages or now online and just see who's included. And I keep longing to see you there.
I was like, did they pick Faye this year?
Where's
Come on.
Faye? No, I think it's super exciting. And it's also interesting to see who's included, because there are a lot of new people, a lot of the older people. I think it's a great list. I love it.
Yeah, and I love that they pull a little bit of each part of our queer community, right? It's not just the influencers. It's not just the people we see on TV all the time. It's exactly like Dale said, the disruptors, right? I love that word, the disruptors, the people who are not afraid to be themselves no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it was a nice list to look through with everything going on. You know, I was a little sad that no one called and asked if I wanted to be on the list. But, every year that Out does this, it's wonderful. And it's a lot of work to identify 100 people. So I really give kudos to the journalists over at Out and all at Pride Media in general for their hard work on this sort of list. Because it's just so hard to put it all together. What do you think, Bobby?
I think it's great. And also, at least our list is less scandalous than the Forbes 30 under 30, which has produced what? I think they produced the Theranos woman. They produced that kid who is now in prison for scamming $2 billion Bitcoin or something.
You can be a little more specific
One of the
about
crypto
that.
people. Yeah.
The crypto guy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is best that we celebrate the community, the people who actually have an impact on our community, not just sitting around and look pretty. I mean, present company accepted, of course.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Bobby. Dale's going through the list, and I'm like, oh my God, that's my favorite. Oh my God, that person's my favorite. Oh my God, no, I love that person. I mean, from Pablo Vitar, Nymphia Wind, the Wicked cast. I mean, come on. You had me at the Wicked cast. T.S. Madison, I love her. Trixie Mattel. Jodie Foster, bitch. All right, that was the first lesbian I ever loved.
Ooh. Right.
Not you guys? No. Who's your favorite on the list that we talked about, right?
Honestly, Trixie.
Right?
She's just been an inspiration since I was even a little bit younger. So
yeah,
just really amazing.
And she's in everything. Supposedly she was taking a break. Yeah, that bitch is doing everything.
She did a 4-month break.
She's in everything, and we're always talking about her in the news, right?
And she did those 2 TV shows with Max. I love both seasons. Where she built the Trixie Motel, and then she got a house, and I just absolutely I'm like, she needs to buy something else to redo with her and her boyfriend, because they're just so cute together.
And they're so good at it, right?
Right.
She needs to buy a condo in Brickell.
Right.
Well,
you heard that, Trixie? Get on over
I
here
know
to
a great
Brickell.
realtor.
Right.
What's next, Alex?
Next, let's queer up youth and students. CDC survey reveals over 3% of high school students identify as transgender. A groundbreaking survey by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reveals that more than 3% of high school students identify as transgender, marking a significant finding in understanding youth identities. This result aligns with a 2022 Pew Research Center survey, which found that 2% of adults under 30 identify as trans, with an additional 3% identifying as non-binary. The data reflects a broader trend of increasing comfort among younger generations with LGBTQ identities. An earlier survey highlighted that nearly a third of Gen Z individuals describe themselves as something other than cisgender and heterosexual, compared to only 16% of millennials, 7% of Generation X, and just 4% of baby boomers. The survey also uncovered alarming health disparities for transgender students. 26% of transgender and questioning students attempted suicide in the past year, compared to 5% of cisgender male and 11% of cisgender female students. The data shows that schools contribute significantly to this distress, with 25.3% of transgender students and 26.4% of questioning students skipping school to feeling unsafe. Trans youth also face family rejection, leading to a crisis of youth homelessness exacerbated by discrimination in shelters and social services. You know, I was looking at this from the CDC, and it's wonderful to see them finally start asking these sorts of questions. We don't ask youth these identities enough. I think, you know, too often we're told like how small or how large the trans community is. Like, you know, these are numbers that are actually larger than the number of people that have red hair, for instance, in this country. And we really need to understand that trans kids are a part of our society. I think the most disturbing finding, honestly, was not only the trans youth suicide number was horrifying.
25%, that's crazy.
Yeah, but like that's per year that attempt. But 5% and 11% of that's still an alarmingly high number. 5% to 11% of cis kids. Now, as to the number that want to identify as cisgender and heterosexual, who on earth wants to be cisgender and heterosexual? Warren, goodness. I'm glad to see more young people are coming up with new identities and new ways of embracing diversity. What do you think, Faye?
I mean, it's, you know, again, that hurts. The 25% of that group trying, you know, we're taught by the Trevor Project every year about how high the percentage of kids in LGBTQIA that attempt suicide every year. And trans kids are at the top of that list, you know. 3% of high school kids are trans. Think about that. That's a big ass number. You know, like we are everywhere, and these people have to start understanding and seeing us that way. You know, the disparities are just way too much. You know, these kids are not old enough to really find resources on their own, yet they're homeless. Yet they're rejected by their family. Yet they can't get the right gender-affirming care that they need that would actually prolong their life. CDC, AMA, they all say gender-affirming care, right, is you are less likely to try to kill yourself if you're going through gender-affirming care. And gender-affirming care is not just getting a gender-affirming surgery. It's not, okay? It's psychological help. It's help just living day to day as as the sex that you authentically feel you are. There are so many things that come with that. Resources, therapy, a bunch of stuff, you know? And I mean, think about when everybody at this table was a teen. It's hard enough being a queer kid. It's hard enough being a gay boy, right? But then imagine looking in the mirror and knowing that you're in the wrong sex body. Like, that's gotta be so tough. And then know that your educators are not helping you, that the government doesn't want to even see you. I mean, that's a lot for a freaking 11-year-old kid. Like,
if the government will deny access to what restroom you can use, or even just trying to deny what pronoun you want to be used.
Yes.
These things really do affect kids on a very personal, emotional level. And kids as young as 5 or 10, you know, can deal with these situations. And when the schools don't support them, it's horrifying.
But there's also the entire thing that culturally we have some ridiculous anti-queer forces, anti-trans forces specifically.
Yeah.
People like Elon Musk, who's worth $bazillion and use his platform
for evil. Just say it, for evil.
No, screw that guy. He is evil.
Yeah.
And also, not to mention the turf in chief, J.K. fucking Rowling.
All right, the turf. Right. And you know, this is all. This is why it's so important to vote now that we are in full voting season. It's so important because if the party that is so, if they get in power, these numbers won't even be reflected properly. They won't even. They won't be accurate. They'll be hidden. There won't be accurate information for us to even be bemoaning. Yeah. So it's so important to vote. Vote. Yeah. Blue.
Vote blue.
Blue.
All right, Bobby.
Oh. Next, let's queer up students and youth again. Tim Walz advocates for LGBTQ rights on We Can Do Hard Things podcast. Governor Tim Walz engaged in a candid conversation with author Glennon Doyle, her partner Abby Wambach, and her sister Amanda Doyle on the latest episode of the We Can Do Hard Things podcast. Walz spoke about pressing election issues, including abortion and gun violence. Midway through the discussion, the focus shifted to the challenges faced by queer youth, particularly trans kids. This prompted Walz to deliver a passionate defense of LGBTQ rights, including transgender healthcare. Wambach initiated the topic by recognizing Walz's early support for queer youth, asking, quote, "Well, thank you, Governor Walz, so much for protecting even in the late 90s queer kids. And so I have to ask, what will Harris-Walz administration do to protect our queer kids today?" End quote. Walz highlighted positive legislative actions such as codifying hate crime laws and increasing education, while stressing the importance from using his platform to advocate for LGBTQ rights. He noted the critical roles judges play in safeguarding medical care for queer youth. Walz also condemned the surge of national anti-transgender attack ads, notably funded by the Trump administration. He said, quote, "We see it now. The hate has shifted to the trans community. They see that as an opportunity." His comments follow a day after Kamala Harris defended transgender rights in a contentious Fox News interview, signaling a resolute stance from the Harris-Walz tickets amidst rising anti-trans sentiments. Thank you, Governor Walz, first of all. I mean, the guy, look, almost every politician, no matter how clean they are, sometimes they have skeletons in the closet, something like a misstep or even a bad comment back in the day. This guy literally has none. His the entire football team and the coaches, who are now grown adults, are back to endorsing him.
Right.
Yeah, and are better adults because of him.
Yeah, the Trump side is literally trying to AI generate things to discredit him, and that still doesn't work
because they don't have anything.
Right.
Exactly. There's nothing. And for a Midwestern white straight teacher, male teacher, to start or at least advise gay straight or alliance, that's groundbreaking.
Yeah,
back then.
and for the 90s,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
huge groundbreaking. He was a trailblazer in his own right.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I will warn that we sometimes put Walz on a little too high of a pedestal. He has made some comments that have been a little inaccurate. He got after a wedding, you go on honeymoon. He got his honeymoon confused with the dates of the Tiananmen Square massacre.
Okay.
That's not things that are the end of the world stuff. I say that because people often put people on a pedestal and then the other like, well, he got this one little thing wrong. And I'm like, I wish that was the worst thing people got wrong. Though I will say, in a compliment to Tim Walz, I tend to say that Democrats suffer from triple D syndrome. Democrats don't deliver. But I always have to do a little caveat, except there's this weird governor and legislature in Minnesota doing all this great stuff. And it's Governor Walz. And I always remind people, he's one of the few that has actually delivered. Will he be, vice president in a few months? I hope so in many ways. I'm not going to bet money on it the way the polls are looking. But, he's certainly done a lot to try and help boost Kamala's chances.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of ally that we talk about when we say allies are important, right? Is someone like Tim Walz. He was that teacher that helped with the GSA. He was, as a football coach, right? You deal with toxic masculinity in a gym, right? That's part of it, in a locker room, right? And he helped kids that were being bullied during that time. That may sound insignificant, but to us queer people, that's huge, That is a warrior without the cape.
And he was doing it when he was not seeking kudos.
Yes.
Because he was doing the work behind the scenes or in real life, but not seeking any fame for it.
Yeah.
Just actually boots on the ground doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also want to point out that, from between two sides, that we have a very different way to looking at this kind of civil rights issues. We want to legislate nationally. We want to have equal rights, everyone to everywhere. That's why Republicans and the rights like to dig under and go,
like for abortion rights, right? Let the states do it themselves.
Yeah, focus on like states' rights, or even infiltrate school boards. Like they're looking into a situation or politics where back then, it wasn't really about politics. They radicalized the race. They polarized the people and leave a disgruntled minority, often bigger than minority, to take over. And we sometimes just we take our eyes off the wheel for a second, and that happens.
But that's also the history of the United States. If you really want to go where does state rights against equality come from? The first concept of equality, which was turned into a states' rights issue, was let's let slavery stay to the states. And everything to this day, unfortunately, with the U.S. Constitution and the way we deal with civil rights, still is coming from that basis of slavery.
Very true.
Which is white supremacy.
Very true. Which is white supremacy. Yeah. Ryan, how does this wash all over you? Tim Walz, do you like him as a speaker? What do you think about him having the backs of the queer community and even talking about trans rights? Lots of people don't even want to even touch the subject.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, as you were saying about your statistics, so I'm a zillennial. I'd say I graduated high school 2017. I was openly gay in 15. Fortunately, I never really had, say, like any of those issues at the time. But no, I think definitely it's a unique subject that necessarily I can't comment on because I don't necessarily know what's all about in there.
Okay, you're gonna vote though, right?
Of course.
Okay, early voting has started,
Yeah.
So get your beautiful ass to some
Definitely.
Brickell place and go vote.
Definitely.
Right?
Brickell
Right.
Place.
Next, let's queer up health. Texas Attorney General sues doctor over gender-affirming care. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a first-of-its-kind lawsuit in American history. He's made headlines by suing Dr. May C. Lau, a prominent physician, for providing gender-affirming care to minors. The suit alleges that Lau, a professor at the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center and a practitioner at Children's Health in Dallas, violated Texas laws against gender-affirming care. Paxton claims she prescribed cross-sex hormones to at least 21 young individuals for gender transition. Additionally, he accuses her of violating the state's business code by allegedly engaging in, quote, false, misleading, and deceptive acts, end quote, to mislead pharmacies and insurance providers regarding her testosterone prescriptions. In a press release, Paxton stated, quote, growing scientific evidence strongly suggests that gender transition interventions prescribed to or performed on children in an attempt to anatomically or hormonally alter their biological sex characteristics have damaging long-term consequences, end quote. This lawsuit follows a legislative ban signed by Governor Greg Abbott, which was recently upheld in court. You know, again, we were talking in a past story about gender-affirming care and how the Trevor Project states that children that are trans and their LGBTQ plus youth, right, if they have gender-affirming care and support, they're less likely to want to take their own lives, you know?
The cruelty is the point here.
Cruelty. That's a great way to put it.
And also, it is also that quote that Paxton gave out, completely inaccurate. AMA, you know, the pediatric organizations,
Yep. CDC,
all suggested that transition and the use of hormones as, you know, and it's a healthy way to start the transition process until we become an adult and you can perform, you know, surgical intervention.
If you decide to go that route.
Gender-conforming surgeries.
Yeah.
The whole thing, they cherry-pick evidence, and I'm guessing that it is I don't know which court held that up, but I'm going to guess it's probably a Republican-appointed judge.
You think?
Yeah.
Probably the Trump judge who was in that one county in northern Texas, the federal court of northern Texas, that have rubber-stamped every single ban. They try to ban birth control pills. They try to ban morning after pills. They try to ban RE486. They all, you know, they rush it to the courthouse, and the guy would just rubber stamp it because he is a Christian nationalist.
Yeah.
We are literally seeing in Texas and also in our home state of Florida the effects of Project 2025. You don't actually have to wait to see it. It's not going to be like looming in the distance. No, it's already
it's
here.
Seeping in already.
It's seeping
and
in
it's really
already
the
here.
politics of fear, just fear and fear-mongering, and making people afraid of what they don't even know anything about.
Yeah.
And what they think they don't know anything about, because chances are that everybody has some connection with a trans person, or, you know, so it's just, yeah, go ahead.
I think the politics of fear is too kind. You know, the governor of Texas, I did a piece a few months ago about authoritarianism that we're seeing in this country. And I didn't realize a man shot and murdered someone because he was a right-winger, going after a left-winger. And the governor pardoned him. It is legal. Hunting season is open on the left in Texas. And it is a very scary thing to see that. And people are like, well, what is this connected with that? They're now going after queer kids in a very violent way, prosecuting a doctor for gender-affirming care, which, as you were noting, and like I have a friend who's a therapist who helps trans kids. You don't just walk in there like, okay, let's just start tomorrow. I got the plastic surgeon on speed dial. That's not
You don't
how it
walk
works.
in and snip.
It is a multi-year process. You often have to live with the other gender for at least a year.
Yeah.
And it's a big thing. And also, let's also remember, because people talk about, sometimes people they want to detransition. I'm like, people are more likely to get rid of their Harry Potter tattoo than they are to detransition.
Very
so
true.
we do need to remember that when we talk about this.
This whole thing about 1 in 3 kids want to detransition. No, blatant lie.
Yeah.
They found one or two people who have this detransition, put them on a
pedestal for that.
pedestal, give them an X account, and Elon Musk will amplify their voice.
And I do want to, there's nothing wrong with detransitioning too. For the kids that you have to go through your feelings in that journey, that's okay. But it's very rare because there are all these processes in place.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. And how about the healthcare practitioners now that, my wife is a nurse practitioner, and I got to tell you that she's afraid of DeSantis, and she's not afraid of too many people.
Because people can go to prison.
Well, that's also your livelihood, I mean, like that's how you make your living. And like you're gonna be afraid to lose your license because you're helping someone. Isn't that a vow that you take or some shit when you decide to be a health practitioner?
But it's not just also being afraid of those things. It's being afraid of the people who are being egged on with this information, who have AKR, what are those called? What are they called?
AR-15. Yeah.
Who have guns and are willing to use them.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is knowledge that are being under attack. Their movement is completely anti-intellectual. They want you to not learn anything so that you can fear everything or just believe what you tell them.
Yeah. Sounds like Korea, doesn't
One
it?
thing I know. Miami's an international city. We don't get this political.
Well, we do, actually.
Yeah, they
Abbott
do.
and DeSantis are the same.
Yeah.
Go to Gayocho. Go to Gayocho. Trump flags are everywhere.
I've got my Brickle bubble.
Yeah, for sure. You go a little bit more south, you'll see we're very similar.
west.
And unfortunately, DeSantis and Abbott are all taking pages out of the Trump book, and they're really trying to instill that on us. I can't wait for DeSantis to be gone already. Are we counting down the days?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we should have
2 years left.
We should have a countdown. Oh my God. All right, what's next, Dale?
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we're broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out television studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday service every Sunday at 10:30 a.m.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up lesbian culture. Cynthia Erivo says Wicked's true love story is between Elphaba and Glinda. Cynthia Erivo, who stars as Elphaba in Wicked, shares her insights as this year's cover star of Out 100. In her cover story, Erivo emphasizes the film's central plot, describing it as a beautiful love story between two characters, played by her and Ariana Grande. Through Fierro, played by out actor Jonathan Bailey, is a romantic interest in it. Erivo insists the real love story is between the women, highlighting how they see each other beyond surface-level insecurities. She added, quote, "The story of these two is really, really special, and I think that we underestimate the power of platonic love," end quote. This was a similar observation that Wicked Broadway star Idina Menzel made this last year in her interview with Queer News Tonight's Al Ferguson. She said that Elphaba was a queer character that understood the rejection in the world and how she survived and then thrived. Wicked arrives in theaters on November 22nd. You know, I was reading her state this, and normally I think that's very wonderful, but she's also been criticizing people online for having fun with the posters and doing their own interpretations.
I was going to mention that.
And I'm just like, I get the ugliness of how the poster might have been in a way and how we need to be careful, but like, if you're telling people not to take creative liberty, then I'm sorry, then you shouldn't be trying to take creative liberties yourself. Like, you know, but that being said, Menendel, she can never do any wrong with me. So I love her.
So are you dissing Cynthia Erivo?
No comment.
Like, I think Cynthia Erivo is just such a beautiful human. I think that she was so perfectly
voice is
cast.
phenomenal.
Her voice is phenomenal. I would watch her and Ariana Grande have sex in a second. And, you know, Wicked is one of my all-time favorite musicals. And, you know, I always saw it with that, like seeing their relationship be more. And you know how they always say that us gay people want to make everybody gay, right? But like me watching Wicked, I was like, their love story is more powerful. And it's really what brings me to want to watch Wicked over and over and over and over.
I cannot wait for the film.
I've already bought my tickets to the opening night.
Did?
I already bought them. Yes, I'll add you. I'll add you to it. And you know, and so about what you were saying, Alex. So the story is that for you know, the cover, one of the covers is Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande next to each other, and Elphaba has the black wigs hat on, and it's partially covering her face. Well, in their movie poster, you see her face clearly. You see Ariana there clearly as Glinda. In one, a fan, I guess, redid the poster covering Cynthia's whole face. Right, and she took that personal. She has a right to take it personal, Alex, but I also don't understand why get so mad about it.
Made a big,
you know
big
what I
ruckus.
mean?
She
like,
did make a big ruckus.
She made a big ruckus of it. And she's got the right? Because again, if I'm taking a picture with Dale and then all of a sudden my face is covered, I'm gonna be like, what the F? You didn't want the brown girl in the picture. You know? So we have the pictures on the screen right now. You know, I mean, but all the coverage that Cynthia's getting on this, she's got the cover of Out 100. You know, girl, enjoy the love, enjoy what's about to happen, right? Because Wicked is not just one movie, it's two, right? So she's going to get a lot of love and a lot of spotlight and a lot of play. Don't take it personal. We're constantly fighting, right? As queer people, we're constantly fighting as black and brown people, right? Sometimes just enjoy it for what it is. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, totally,
You know?
And then yet again, at the same time, she's entitled to express and do and use her platform as she chooses.
You know, like we're all triggered by different things. Maybe that completely just makes her feel less than and not enough, and she has to take that moment.
Because we're not walking her journey, so we're not entitled to her feelings.
And I think we've done a great job of sticking to one and she said to the least.
Okay.
You know what, Alex? It was about Wicked, which is like my favorite.
I'm just as bad.
Which is my favorite musical of all time, so we're going to talk about it anymore. And guess what? Alex? I'm going to go and ask Ryan what he thinks. Ryan!
That's right.
To make it even longer.
Honestly,
Ryan, are you going to watch Wicked?
You said all my thoughts. Yeah, you've said all my thoughts pretty much. Like you had it all. Between hat coverage, you got it all.
Okay, but did you see the play?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. I was about to have a heart attack with Ryan, boy. Let me tell you, because I mean, he didn't know who Priscilla was. We were gonna have some.
Oh yeah, that's a gay 101 moment. We're gonna have to revisit down the road.
We'll help Ryan with that.
Help me with my culture, please.
I love it. Bobby, what's next? Boy?
All right, LGBTQ 1 minute news. Let's queer up gay culture. Michael Jordan is watching, and you're wearing the wrong pair of briefs. Basketball superstar stole his goods in his underwear. Do you remember? Jordan's partnership with Nike might have revolutionized athletes' endorsements, but his 32-year relationship with Hanes was equally iconic. One memorable 90s commercial featured 4 dudes lounging in the locker room. Confidently sporting their white briefs, enter MJ, and suddenly the vibe changes. When he pulls out a pair of red briefs, their confidence falters. The next time, the guy showed up in red undies, only to have Jordan coolly reveal black patterned briefs. Needless to say, queer fans love how Jordan kept the guys chasing his approval with their ever-changing underwear. It sounds just like a story on Wilton Drive or West Hollywood. Well, first of all, I don't think it is legal to wear what most gay men wear under our pants on Wilton Drive. But there are way too many openings. It's a violation of city code.
Right.
Wicked Manners is coming up next week. Everybody's going to be out there in their tidy whities or anything they want. And a harness.
Always a harness.
Fun Wilton Manors history. There was a gentleman, I believe in 2019, that was bicycling without his, he had boots on, and he decided to trade them to a store for some reason, but he then didn't wear anything and he rode off. Police did escort him off the drive shortly after.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! But there
Can I
was
just say
a.
that commercial is hot.
But even
it's
now,
so,
right?
It's so gay.
Can you imagine like a modern day reincarnation of this commercial?
But he should remake it.
No,
Right?
no.
Absolutely,
I want to
too.
give it. I want to give it to like the Kelsey brothers this time.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! The
no.
Swifties will lose their goddamn minds.
No, they would lose their freaking minds. I know somebody who's dressing like him for Wicked
I'm
Manners
sure somebody's
too.
going to come at them as a couple.
Of course,
with a cat.
Of course, with the cat. All I want to know is if Michael Jordan has a pair of Hanes from 32 years ago that he still has now. I just
It's probably in a museum somewhere.
it's probably worn once.
I mean, it's probably like Planet Hollywood or something.
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Equality Garden Club November Plant Fair is here. The 11th annual Tropical Plant Fair is set to take place from November 9th through the 10th, 2024 at Richardson Historical Park and Nature Preserve. Vendors like Plants Be With You, Community Garden Center, and Backyard Blooms will be there to offer a wide selection of unique plants and gardening resources. Hosted by the Equality Garden Club, this fair continues the club's mission of providing valuable gardening knowledge to South Florida residents, especially those unfamiliar with the local Zone 10 climate. Since 2013, the Tropical Plant Fair has grown significantly. Proceeds from the event support grants to local nonprofits focused on community education. The event is a must for plant lovers looking to connect with experts and expand their collections. And it's also a must for people like me that kills every single plant she gets. Like, I literally, like, people will give me a beautiful orchid and I'll be like, do you really want to give it to me? Because it's gonna die.
I am
no,
joining you.
this plant, no one could die, no one could kill it. I've killed all those plants that they say nobody can kill. So I will be at this event.
They walk in your house and you're like, oh, no.
Dead.
I join you in the Black Thumb Club. Aside from a single cactus, I cannot keep anything alive. Okay, my husband is alive, but you know.
I mean, seriously, it's all about the plants. And I mean, they give us so much, they give us so much love. We get to look at them and enjoy them and oxygen and all that. And I'm murdering them.
You gotta feel the vibes, feel the energy.
You got plants over there in Brickell?
Of course, because I'm in a concrete jungle. I love to have a little tropical oasis in my house. So I have like plants hanging from my ceiling.
So you're one of those plant daddies.
I'm one of those plant gays, yes.
You have a green thumb.
Of course.
Oh, that's
you know,
see?
I'll keep it alive.
That is sex, and he'll stick that thumb wherever.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up gay culture. Check out these queer celebrities embracing fitness with pride. LGBTQ plus celebrities in the gym? Yeah, we love fitness and so do these amazing queer celebrities. Whether it's at the gym, running outdoors, or working out from home, these stars are showing us how it's done. Their Instagram feeds are filled with workout selfies, showing off their toned physiques, drenched in sweat and rocking those tiny gym shorts. Queer News Tonight will help connect all the dots. Jonathan Bailey, Lee Pace, and Brian Michael Smith seem to be in love with their workout routines, while Wilson Cruz and Nashuti Gatwa also inspire us with their commitment to fitness. How can we forget Olympian Tom Daley, actor Campbell Harrison, Toya Sivan, and Jamal Sims? We're certainly not complaining about the eye candy these stars share, but more importantly, they remind us to embrace our health and fitness journeys with pride and confidence. Yeah, the pride and fitness journey. And no, it's all about the eye candy. Trust me when I tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Wilson Cruz used to. I'm aging
He's so
myself
sweet.
now. My so-called life when he was just a little twink.
Yes.
Now he's like this
Hot.
six-pack.
And
look at
those
those
abs.
Yeah, look at those abs. Look at those packs. Like
He's
he's
an
a
amazing
full-on
human
daddy
being,
now.
too, though.
Yeah,
He's really
and he's
a
such an
wonderful human
incredible
being.
advocate as well.
I know, and
Which
he's
makes him
great.
even hotter.
And also, I'm surprised the choice of workouts. I thought that he just breathes air. Like he doesn't
You
seem
just
like
thought he was like a twink and he just
Yeah.
looks perfect.
thought he was
like
on the Miami
uber twink.
He's a breatharian.
He was on the Miami diet.
Just the Miami diet,
you
just
know.
water
That's
and
a cortadito, some cocaine, and maybe an arepa here and there, depending on what day it is. That's it. That's it.
The only thing that I'll say is, one, I love that Wilson Cruz is also a Task Force alumni, for those that want
Yes,
weird
of course.
queer history. I don't think he got those abs being door knocking and the Task Force organizer, but the other thing I'll also say is, they talk about the hot men in shorts. Well, our viewers know when it comes to exercising, I tell them, you don't need the shorts when you're with me, dear.
Oh, God.
Well, LGBTQ 1 minute news, let's queer up entertainment. Cyndi Lauper says goodbye. Cyndi Lauper, the legendary singer, known for her powerful voice and vibrant style, is preparing for her farewell tour after a groundbreaking 40-year career. Lauper, who rose to fame with her 1984 debut album, She's So Unusual, captivated queer fans with hits like Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and her 1986 anthem, True Colors, became a symbol of LGBTQ advocacy. The song was inspired by her friend's battle with HIV and AIDS. A fierce ally of the queer community, Lauper has used her platform to fight for queer rights. She founded True Colors United in 2008 to combat youth homelessness. As she embarks on her 23-city Girls Just Want to Have Fun farewell tour, fans can expect a thrilling end to her touring days, but not to her passion for music and activism. As she celebrates this farewell tour, the LGBT community has so much to be grateful for, with allies like Cyndi Lauper. Now, I first want to say that because I was born in 1984, I'm assuming the producers are having a go reminding me of how old I am. But that being aside, I've always loved Cyndi Lauper. She's just been so good. You know, I'm sad we didn't include like Girl Bop, I believe the name was, about female masturbation.
She
You know, she put female masturbation on the map, and for that we thank her.
Right.
She even sang the song for the Goonies, I think. Now I just dated myself.
God.
You know, like, you know, True Colors, right? I can't hear that song without like waterworks happening, right? I mean, and they play it at so many huge, important events in queer community, right? And it's just, it just surpasses time. And I see people like, you know, like Ryan hearing the song, and they weren't around when the song came out, and it's still being like that strong.
It's totally a timeless classic.
Timeless classic, you know? She's
and
coming.
we talk about Kiki Boots. I mean, you know, she wrote
also.
Yeah,
and
hello.
Kiki Boots. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? With Billy Porter, and I mean that was it's still an exceptional musical. You know, Cyndi Lauper keeps reinventing herself and still standing up for rights, for our rights, for straight people's rights, for everybody. She's an exceptional human being. She's coming to Hard Rock next month, November 8th. I tried to get tickets, and the cheapest one is $500.
Oh,
You
yeah.
go to StubHub like 2 hours before, and you see what you can get on StubHub.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I also just want to applaud Cyndi for retiring with grace. Like, how many times have we had a certain pop acts?
Sure.
No, but Cyndi usually has opened for her.
Madonna.
For Cher many times.
I'm not going to name names. I'm going to get pelted by rocks on the drive.
But as you would deserve for saying that Cher has done what?
No.
Not done great.
Yeah, but she hasn't done any farewell tours recently, as far as I know. And I know that I'm sure Cyndi Lauper would want to devote the rest, the rest of her life for advocacy and other things that not necessarily involve or composing or creating another musical.
Another musical.
Yeah.
She can do that too.
Yeah.
You know,
or residency in Vegas.
Or residency.
That's how they tend to do it. They do the farewell tour and then they move to Vegas, which is smart.
She can totally do that because she's not doing stadiums. This is not a stadium era's Taylor Swift tour.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is Hard Rock Live that is pretty big, but it's not the stadium.
No,
Right.
but
You know?
speaking of Taylor, oh my God, the show's the crazy.
Oh my God, 3 days. So Taylor literally closed down our South Florida cities for the last 3 days.
entire turnpike's
Every
probably
drag
impossible.
brunch was a Taylor Swift brunch.
yeah.
Every makeup artist had to paint these girls like Taylor Swift. There were friendship bracelets flowing everywhere, right? They had to close down the turnpike. People who lived in the area were the only ones that were allowed to drive through there. There was no tailgating. Like, it was crazy for 3 days.
What does the Taylor Swift makeup look like? Just some basic foundation and like
Right.
two little things of blush barely?
What every suburban girl looks like.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
Kelsey's,
God.
like sweat on her.
Suburban girl from 15 years ago,
And
remember?
certainly not the makeup that is Cyndi Lauper.
Okay.
Well, Cyndi Lauper
bring
is
it-
a very
To
distinctive
bring it back.
sparkle.
Bring it back to Cyndi Lauper. We love you, Cyndi Lauper. Get your tickets
Love
today.
you too.
All right? She's on tour. This might be her final tour.
And that's it today for tonight's news, for today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ evening news show. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat, And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Dale Stine, Ryan Waugaman, Alex Morash, and Dr. Bobby Huen. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. We remind you that the presidential election is just 14 days away. Stand up for equality, rights, and representation. Early voting has started today across most of the country. So get your voting done now to avoid long lines. Let's make history together. Let's vote for a better future. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.